Good afternoon, Bronx Zoo Explorers. Welcome aboard the Wild Asia Monorail. My name is Craig, and I'm going to be your guide and driver. I'll be your guide, and you'll be our field scientist in training. After we cross the Bronx River, we'll be
helping the rangers of the national park in doing their forest patrol. There was a time when we found some tigers' footprints in the jungle, but then we also found that some snares are installed inside the forest, which become threats to the animal. We dismantle the snares to make sure that the tigers are safe.
We see a few of our peacocks again and peahens as we continue on. In the back with spots is the axis deer that keeps their spots all their lives. They've been on display here at the zoo since 1899. If you see what looks like a pig with upper tusks that are up through the top of its snout and curve backwards towards its eyes, you found a pig called the babirusa. The fact that the tusks resemble antlers earned this pig its name. Babirusa means pig deer in the Malay language. And what are those tusks for? Well, they're to intimidate males and attract females. Male in the first exhibit area with his tusks. A face only a mother could love. Coming up next, our largest land mammal, no binoculars needed. Patty and Maxine, our Asian elephants, are next. Patty and Maxine are each about 40 years old. As an up-and-coming field scientist, what do you think you might see check first on our elephants? The first thing I check is their size. An Asian elephant weighs in at about 10,000 pounds. Eats a lot of vegetation, but will also eat a lot of vegetation. 200 pounds of hay each day and 60 gallons of water each. That trunk of theirs is an incredible tool. Has over 40,000 muscles in it. More muscles than in the entire human body. With a finger-like feature at the end of the trunk that can pick up an egg without breaking it. Yet they can take that trunk of theirs and rip a small tree out of the ground. They get special treatment here at the zoo too. Twice a week, they get special baths and pedicures. Here is more about our conservation work.
WCS works in the field with both African and Asian elephants. Here is a note from our field scientists who work with Asian elephants.
My name is Donny Gunaryadi, and I'm the Elephant Conservation Coordinator for WCS Indonesia. The first time I saw a Sumatran elephant, I thought, this is a magnificent creature. They will be safe because they are so big. But the truth is, they have declined 50% since the 1980s. Even though rats and insects cause more damage to crops than elephants. Because the elephant is so huge, psychologically, it seems more threatening. So when there is conflict, the farmers poison the elephants. In response, we created a crop protection unit to mitigate conflict and send the elephants back into the park. And it's been a huge success. Since we started in 2003, no elephants and no people have been killed.
Now our next animal has skin like armor plates, a horn on the front of its nose, weighs in about 3,500 pounds. Now look to the left where the road just turns off. And out there, right by the fence, well that's Cali, one of our Indian rhinos. Today, all rhinos are highly endangered. Less than 2,000 Indian rhinoceros survive in India and Nepal. Here at the Bronx Zoo, we care for 5 endangered Indian rhinos. We've had great success with Indian rhinos. Caring for this very rare animal is one thing, but breeding is a huge challenge. Think about this, moms. A female rhino is pregnant for 16 months. Can you imagine being pregnant for almost a year and a half, then giving birth to a bouncing 150-pound baby? That baby will stay with its mother for 2 to 3 years, so at least you don't have to pay for college. And weaning can take anywhere from 12 to 16 months. They bathe their skin in mud, which is sensitive to sunburn and insect bites. And they do that in something they created themselves that we call the wallows. The original wallows is coming up on our right after a downed tree. Made back in 1977, the same time the monorail was completed. And if you look back of it, we get a much better view of Callie, our Indian rhino. Nice pose, Callie.
The rhinos you see here are Indian rhinos. We work with habitats all over the world that are homes to rhinos. Here is a note from our field office in Sumatra, and Wulan, who works with the Sumatran rhino. Sumatran rhinos are the smallest of the world's rhinos, and they are considered critically endangered.
My name is Wulan Pusperini, and I'm the Species Conservation Specialist for WCS Indonesia program. We carried out an island-wide survey of the last wild population of Sumatran rhinoceros in Indonesia. With so many unknowns on how to manage Sumatran rhinos in the wild or captivity, our studies showed definitively that we must protect them at source. The cost of doing nothing could be the extinction of the species, and I can't imagine that.
We need to be ready as our skills are about to be tested. In the next 2 areas, you'll see what a challenging job our keepers really have, trying to keep track of 5 species of deer and 1 antelope. What do we see first? Share your findings with your group. You'll notice that they're wrapped in wire. That's because of the antlers and horns in the exhibit that would scrape themselves against the bark of a tree to clean them. Enough bark gets scraped away, the tree dies. Loss of a leafy food source and much needed shade. With the wire on the tree, they can clean more efficiently, and it saves the bark on the tree. And that's a winning situation for everyone. A little river coming up on our right, and if you follow it as it turns all the way back, there we see a large chocolate-colored deer, the sandbar deer, largest deer in southern Asia. 5 feet at the shoulder, 650 pounds. The small deer that you see right here is a hog deer, fully grown. Short and squat like a hog is how they got their name. More of them by the back fence on our right here. The nilgai antelope. Largest antelope in Asia, and fastest too. They can run at 40 miles per hour. Past the double fence, and we're looking for a rare sight known as China's tufted deer. Move your eyes back to that corner rock. There's one right on there. At less than 40 pounds and extremely shy, they love to hide. In fact, we usually don't get to see them. They're normally seen in zoos in mainland China, but the Bronx Zoo is one of several exceptions. We're proud. They have a white tail and rump they use for deer communication. When they're really upset, they'll bark like a dog and growl too. They're the only monorail animal that stays outdoors year-round. They adore the winter and kind of like the summer. But next we're coming to the tallest point in our exhibit as we pass over the Bronx River 35 feet above the water. Thousands of commuters cross this waterway every day, but underneath the highways and our elevated tracks, the river still rushes along, providing a habitat for ducks, turtles, fish, and migrating birds. If you look carefully, you might see the outlines of fish. Whether it's the Bronx River in New York or the Irrawaddy River in Asia, rivers and streams are vital resources for wildlife everywhere. The rocky terrain in this next area is the perfect environment for our next two species. Both are adapted to climbing rugged mountain slopes, and both are wild goats. Look at their horns if you want to see the differences in them. And, we turn around this boulder and look at the downed tree. There's the alpha male for the markhor, the largest goat in the world. Horns over 5 feet long, and he's quite sizable. Markhor means snake eater, and the legend has it that the markhor ate a snake. Came out of the top of his head, and that's what made his horns so curly. National animal of Pakistan, also from Afghanistan and Kazakhstan. Behind this log as we pass, those horns aren't curly, they're curved back and triangular in shape, belonging to the Himalayan tahr, well adapted to life on the mountain slopes and woodlands of the Himalayan mountains. Horns curved back and triangular in shape to prevent injury during headbutting battles in the mating season. So I get a headache just thinking about it. Now, unfortunately, with all the construction on Jungle World Road, our red pandas are not on display. So if you do wish to see red panda, you need to go to the Himalayan highlands, a short walk from the monorail. They're on exhibit along with the snow leopard from Pakistan. So as you round this bend, our journey is almost at an end. You've heard from some of our animal experts here and in the field, and tried out some of your own science skills while on this ride. We hope you've been inspired by what you've heard and seen today. Remember, the Bronx Zoo is part of the Wildlife Conservation Society, or WCS. In addition to managing 5 parks here in New York City, the Bronx Zoo, New York Aquarium, Central Park Zoo, Queens Zoo, and Prospect Park Zoo, the WCS also has scientists in the field at more than 300 sites in over 60 countries. If you'd like to join us in saving wildlife and wild places, visit WCS.org to take action. Join our 96 Elephants campaign to save African elephants from poaching. You can also help protect the incredible ocean ecosystems right off our very own New York coastline by joining our Blue York campaign. You can go to blueyork.org to learn more. We're going to be making a short stop while our computer resets, then we'll be heading for our platform of departure. As we make this stop, stay in your seats, please. Now that we're heading from our platform of departure, our adventure is now coming to an end. Please remain in your seats until the train doors open. Watch your step when you exit the monorail car. Remember, there's a step up from the first row and a step down from the back row. Be sure to take all your belongings when you leave the train. Frustrating when you leave those little things behind. You know, cash, credit cards, children. Please don't leave your children. Now, first 6 cars, you're going to exit to your right when you leave the train. Train's about to come to a halt, door's about to open, one thing left to do. Have a great day here at the Bronx Zoo.